I am Professor Jagada from Community Health Nursing Department in Sri Balaji College of Nursing. Today topic is Nurse Research Design. Let me see what is research design. As a first one is learning objectives. At the end of the class, students able to gain knowledge about the definition of research design, elements of research design, characteristics of research design, types of research design, true experimental research design, quasi-experimental research design, and pre-experimental research design. Let me see one by one. Then introduction about research design. The word design has various meanings, but in relation to the subject concern, it is a pattern or an outline of research projects workings. It is the statement of essential elements of a study that provides basic guidelines of conducting the project. It is the same as the blueprint of architect's work. The research design is similar to broad plan or model that states how the entire research project would be conducted. It is desirable that it must be in written form and must be simple and clearly stated. The real project is carried out as per the research design laid down in advance. Then, a definition of research design. The research design is the framework of research methods and techniques chosen by a researcher. The designs allow researchers to hone in on research methods that are suitable for the subject matter and set up their studies up for success. So, definition of research designers, the research design is the framework of research methods and techniques chosen by a researcher. The design allows the researcher to hone in on research methods that are suitable for the subject matter and set up their studies up for success. Then elements of research design. In research design have 5 elements. One is approach and second one is population, sample and sampling technique. Then third element is time and methods of data collection. And fourth element is tools and methods. And fifth element is methods of data analysis. In approach, there may be a qualitative approach or quantitative approach or both quantitative and qualitative approach. This is the elements of research design. Let me move on to our principles of research design. First principle is formulating the problem. Then second one is review of literature. And third one is formulating hypothesis and making assumption explicit. Then fourth one is specification of needed data. Then fifth one is selection of methods and techniques to yield needed data. Then sixth one is planning the analysis, and seventh one is pre-testing studies design, and last one is collection of data. This is the principles of research design. First one is formulating the problem. Second one is review of literature. Third one is formulating hypothesis and making assumption explicit. Then fourth one is specification of needed data. And fifth one is selection of methods and techniques to yield needed data. And sixth one is planning the analysis. And seventh one is pre-testing study design. And eighth one is collecting the data. These are the principles we have to follow while conducting the research design. Then layout of research design. First, there should be some layout in research design. That is, first one is problem research. Second one is nature of research. And third one is object of research. Then fourth one is hypothesis of research. This is called layout of research design. If we have 4 layout, that is problem research, then nature of research, object of research, and hypothesis of research. Next one is characteristics of research design. First character is validity. Validity is or multiple measuring tools available to check the validity. However, the only correct measuring tools are those which help a researcher in gauging results according to the object of the research. The questionnaire developed from this design will then be valid. This is called validity. Validity is nothing but that there are multiple measuring tools available to validate our tools. Then generalization, the outcome of your designs should apply to a population and not just a restricted samples. A generalized design implies that your survey can be conducted on any part of a population with a similar accuracy. Wherever you are conducting the study should be a accurate one for all the studies. This is called generalization. Then neutrality. When you set up your study, you may have to make assumptions about the data you expect to collect. The results projected in the research design should be free from bias and neutral, understands opinion about the final evaluated scores and conclusions from the multiple individuals and consider those who agree with the derived results. This is called neutrality. Then reliability. With regularly conducted research, the researcher involved expects similar results every time. Your design should indicate how to form research questions to ensure the standard of results. You will only be able to reach the expected results if your design is reliable. Reliability is nothing but with the regularly conducted research, the researcher involved expects similar results every time. How many times you are conducting the study, same study should be given similar results every time. This is called reliability. Then, what are the factors affecting the research design? So, some factors are there that will be affect our research design. First one is nature of research problem. Second one is purpose of the study. Then third one is researchers' knowledge and experience. And fourth one is researchers' interest and motivation. The last one is research ethics and principles. So research problem, first one is nature of the research problem. Based on our research problem, our study designs get changed. Then purpose of the study, based on our purpose, the designs, we can change the research design. Then third one is researcher's knowledge and experience. So knowledge and research experience is very, very important for the researcher to conduct the study in a good way. Then fourth one is researcher and interest and motivations. Interested and motivated researcher will be complete the research design before on or before time. So researcher interest and motivation is very, very important factors that affecting our selecting the research design. The last one is research ethics and principles. Ethics and principles very, very important that while conducting the research study, we have to follow certain ethics and principles. That principle should not, that ethics is nothing but we should not give harm to the participants, those who are participate in your study. These are the factors that are affecting the research design. Clear? Then important concept relating to research design. So we have certain concepts there which will be related to our research design. First one is dependent and independent variables. So all the research we have should have a dependent and independent variables. And second one is extraneous variables. That is, it should be coming outside. This is called extraneous variable. We have to try to avoid this extraneous variables. Then control variables. That is, we should have a control variables. Then research hypothesis. The last one is testing the significance of the results on research hypothesis. Last, we have to test the significance with your research hypothesis. These are the concepts they are in the relating to our research design. Then types of research design. In research design, we have two types. One is qualitative research design and quantitative research design. In quantitative research design, we have two types. One is experimental research design and non-experimental research design. So research design have two types, quantitative research design and qualitative research design. Under quantitative research design have two types, experimental research design and non-experimental research design. Under experimental design have three types. One is true experimental research design, quasi-experimental research design, and one more design is there, that is pre-experimental research design. In non-experimental design, they have three types. One is descriptive design, correlational designs, and historical design. This is coming under quantitative research design. Then coming to a qualitative research design, have four types. One is phenomenology, ethnography, grounded theory, and case study. So these are the types are there in research design. So research design have two types, quantitative research design and qualitative research design. Under quantitative research design have two types, experimental and non-experimental research design. In experimental research design have three types, true experimental design, quasi-experimental design, and pre-experimental design. Coming to non-experimental design have three types, descriptive design, correlational designs, and historical design. Then in qualitative research design have four types that are phenomenology, ethnography, grounded theory, and case study. So this is called types of research design. Next, we move on to a quantitative research design. Quantitative design I have told no, have two types. One is non-experimental research design, experimental design and non-experimental design. Let me see one by one. In experimental design, designs have three types: true experimental design, quasi-experimental design, and pre-experimental design. Let me see one by one what is true experimental design, what is quasi-experimental design, and what is pre-experimental design. First, we move on to a first one, true experimental research design. Uh, Let me see about the definition of true experimental research design. The true experimental research design relies on a statistical analysis to prove or disprove a hypothesis. making it to the most accurate form of research. Only true design can establish a cause-effect relationship within a group. This is the definition of true experimental research design. That is, it is a research that relies on statistical analysis to prove or disprove a hypothesis, making it with the accurate form of research. Only true experimental design can establish a cause and effect relationship within the group. Second one, the essential characteristics of research design. The true experimental design consists of three important characteristics that are they are follows: manipulation, control, and randomization. Manipulation, that is, that we have to manipulate the independent variable and see the effect on the dependent variables. Second one is control. Control, we have two types. One is control group, another one is control the extraneous variables. That is, we have to control the extraneous variables coming from outside of our research study. Then randomization. Randomization, nothing but we have to give a equal chance to all the samples. It's called randomization. Next one is criteria. The sample groups must be assigned randomly. There must be a viable control group. Only one variable can be manipulated and tested. It is possible to test more than one. The tester subject must be randomly assigned to either control or experimental group. The criteria for selection of true experimental research design are: the samples group must be assigned randomly. There must be a viable control group. Only one variables can be manipulated and tested. It is possible to test more than one. The tester subject must be randomly assigned to either control or experimental groups. Then next we move on to what types of true experimental research design. First one is post-test only design. Second one is pre-test post-test only design. And third one is Solomon 4 group design. And fourth one is factorial design. And fifth one is randomized block design. And sixth one is crossover design. So true experimental design have 6 types: post-test only design, pre-test post-test only design, Solomon 4 group design, factorial design, randomized block design, and crossover design. Let me see what is post-test design. Then post-test only control group design. In this design, a type of true experimental design where the test units are randomly allocated to an experimental group and a control group. The experimental group is exposed to a treatment and both groups are measured afterwards. So in post-test only control group designs, the designs where the test units are randomly allocated to an experimental group and a control group. The experimental group is exposed to a treatment and both groups are measured afterwards. This is called post-test only control group design. Next one is pre-test post-test only design. In this design, which uses two groups. One group is given the treatment and the results are gathered at the end. The control group receives no treatment over the same period of time but undergoes exactly the same test. In this design, which uses two groups, one group is participant groups, another group is comparison group. For both group, we are conducting pre-test. Then after pre-test, the intervention only received by the participants group, not the control group. Finally, we have to go for the post-test. This is called pre-test post-test only design. Then Solomon 4 group design. This design contains two extra control groups which serve to reduce the influence of confounding variables and allow the researcher to test whether the pretest itself has an effect on the subject. Here we are using two experimental group and two control group. The experimental group will receive the treatment and the non-experimental group will not receive the treatment. It's called control group. Here we have using two extra control groups. This is called Solomon 4 group design. Next one is factorial design. In factorial designs are a form of true experiment where the multiple factors are manipulated of the study allowed to vary and they provide researcher to main advantages. First one is they allow researcher to examine the main effect of two or more individual independent variables simultaneously. Second, they allow researcher to detect interaction among variables. An interaction in which the effects of one variables vary according to the levels of another variables. Such intervention can only be detected when the variables are examined in combination. Here, if you are using more than two intervention, we can go for this factorial design. Here, the researcher are using more factors for assessing the effect on the dependent variables. Here, example is noise level. If you want to see the noise level, both noisy and quiet, we are assessing with the different groups that are young, middle, and old age group. Here, we are using two factors. So, the researcher using this factorial design for the study. Next one is randomized block design. In this randomized block design, the experimenter divides subjects into subgroups called blocks. That variability within the blocks is less than variability between the blocks. Then the subject within each blocks are randomly assigned to treatment conditions compared to a completely randomized block design. This design reduces variability within the treatment conditions and potential confounding, producing a better estimate of treatment effects. This is called randomized block design. Here, the researcher divide the subject into blocks. Next one is crossover design. In a randomized trial, a crossover design is one in which each subject receives each treatment in succession. For example, subject 1 first receives treatment A, then treatment B. Then subject 2 might receive treatment B and then treatment A. A crossover design has the advantage of eliminating individual subject difference from the overall treatment effect, thus enhancing statistical power. On the other hand, it is important in a crossover study that the underlying conditions not change over time and the effect of one treatment disappear before the next is applied. This is called crossover design. That is, the first subject will receive the treatment 1, next treatment B, then second subject is receiving treatment B, then treatment A. This is a crossover method. This is called crossover design. Then advantages of true experimental research design. First one is it is a basic and straightforward, efficient type of research that can be applied across a variety of disciplines. The second one is experimental designs are repeatable and therefore results can be checked and verified. The third advantage is due to controlled environment of experimental research, better results are often achieved. In the case of laboratory research, conditions not found in natural setting can be created in an experimental setting that allows for greater control of extraneous variables. These are the advantages of a true experimental research design. This is straightforward. It's a provider checked and the results can be checked and verified. Then they have a controlled environment. Then fourth one is they should have a in laboratory test condition not found in natural settings can be created in an experimental setting that allows for greater control of extraneous variable. These are the advantages there in the true experimental research design. Next one is disadvantages of true experimental research design. That is, human error also plays a key role in the validity of the project. It may not be really possible to control all extraneous variables. So it's very difficult to control all the extraneous variables possible. Then the health, mood, and life experience of the test subjects may influence their reactions, and those variables may not even be known to the researcher. So these are the two advantages are there in the true experimental research design. Next, we move on to a quasi-experimental research design. In quasi-experimental research design, the three characters there in the true experimental no. If any one character are missing is called quasi-experimental research design. In quasi-experimental research design, let me see the introduction about quasi-experimental research design. Quasi-experimental research design involves the manipulation of independent variables to observe the effect on dependent variables. Here, we are manipulating the independent variables and observe the effect on the dependent variables. The study, unlike true experimental study, lacks at least one of three cardinal characters that are randomization and control. Here, any one character is missing, that is randomization or control. This is called, it's about introduction on quasi-experimental research design. Next one is meaning of quasi-experimental research design. Quasi, the word quasi means as if or to a degree. Thus, quasi-experimental design is one that resembles an experiment but lacks at least one of its defining characteristics. That is, if any one character is missing, this is called quasi-experimental research design. Next, we move on to a definition of quasi-experimental research design. Quasi-experimental research is similar to experimental research in that there is manipulation of an independent variables. It differs from experimental research because either there is no control group, no random selection, no random assignments, and no active manipulation. So quasi-experimental research is similar to experimental research in that there is manipulation of an independent variables. It differs from experimental research because either there is no control group, no random selection, no random assignments, and or no active manipulation. Then characteristics of quasi-experimental research design. First one is manipulation of the independent variables to observe the effect of the dependent variables. Second one is it lacks at least one of the two other essential characteristics of true experimental design. Then purpose of quasi-experimental design. The quasi-experiments are studied that aim to evaluate intervention but that do not use randomization. Like randomized trial, quasi-experiments aim to demonstrate causality between an intervention and an outcome. This is the purpose of quasi-experimental design. Then we have two types in quasi-experimental design. First one is non-randomized control group design. Let me see what is non-randomized control group design. In this non-randomized control design, the research design have both experimental and control group, but the participants are not randomly assigned to these groups. Here, the research have two groups, experimental group and control group. Here, there is missing of randomization. That's important characteristics of true experimental. No, this character is missing here. So we will call it as a randomized control group design. This is the most common type of quasi-experimental design. This problem with this design of with the type of design have to do with how to compare the results between the groups when they are not equivalent to begin with. This is a non-randomized control group design. The research design have both experimental and control group, but the participants are not randomly assigned. This is the most common type of quasi-experimental design. The problem with this type of design have to do with how to compare the results between the groups when they are not equivalent to begin with. Second design is time series design. It's the second type of quasi-experimental research design. These designs allow the same group to be compared over time by considering the trend of data before and after the treatment. If you have a more time, we can go for this time series design. It will take long period of time to conduct the research study. Then let me see what is the advantages of quasi-experimental research design. Quasi-experimental research design may be more feasible because it often does not have the time and logistical constraints associated with many true experimental research design. True experimental designs are sometimes impractical or impossible because the research can only effectively be carried out in natural setting. The reactions of subjects are more likely to be genuine because it is not an artificial research environment. It can be very useful in identifying the general trends from the results, especially in social science. Then as we move on to what disadvantages of quasi-experimental research design. In quasi-experimental research design, statistical analysis may not be meaningful due to the lack of randomization and the threats to internal validity. In here, this randomization is missing, no? So here, this problem will get a problem in statistical analysis. Then second one is pre-existing factor and other influences are not taken into account because variables are less controlled in quasi-experimental research. Then next, we move on to a third type, pre-experimental research design. The pre-experimental design, let me see what's the introduction about pre-experimental research design. Pre-experimental design, either a single group of participants or multiple groups are observed after some intervention or treatment presumed to cause change. Although they do follow some basic steps used in experiments, pre-experimental design either fail to include a pretest, a control or comparison group or both. In addition, no randomization procedures are used to control for extraneous variables. Thus, they are considered pre-indicating they are preparatory to true experimental design. Pre-experimental design represents the simplest form of research design. This is introduction about pre-experimental design. Then next we move on to a definition of pre-experimental research design. Pre-experiments are the simplest form of research design. In a pre-experimental, either a single group or multiple groups are observed, subsequent to some agent or treatment presumed to cause changes. Definition of pre-experiments are the simplest form of research design. In a pre-experiment, either a single group or multiple groups are observed subsequent to some agent or treatment presumed to cause change. Then types of pre-experimental design. There are two types of pre-experimental designs. They are as follows. First one is one-shot case design. Another one is one group pre-test post-test design. First, let me see one short case study design. A single group is studied at the single point in time after some treatment that is presumed to have caused change. The carefully studied single instance is compared to general expectation of what the case would have looked like had a treatment not occurred and to other events casually observed. No control or comparison group is employed. So one-shot case design is studied at a single point in time after some treatment that is perceived to have caused change. The carefully studied single instance is compared to general expectation of what the case would have looked like had the treatment not occurred and to other events casually observed. No control or comparison group is employed. This is an on-shot case design. First, we have only one group here, experimental group. They are receiving the treatment. Again, we go for the post-test. Here, there is no pre-test. This is called one-shot case design. The next one is one group pre-test post-test design. In this design, a single case is observed at 2 points, on before the treatment and one after the treatment. Changes in the outcome of interest are presumed to be the results of interventions or treatment. No control or comparison group is employed. A single case is observed at two time points, one before the treatment and one is after the treatment. Changes in the outcome of interest are presumed to be the results of the interventions or in treatment. No control or no comparison group is employed. So here we are using only one group, that is called experimental group. For experimental group, we are doing pre-test. After the pre-test, the experimental group receiving the treatment. Then next we go for the post-test. Here the control group is missing here. This is called one group pre-test post-test design. Some advantages of pre-experimental design. It is an exploratory approach. Pre-experiments can be a cost-effective way to discern whether a potential explanation is worthy of further investigations. This is the advantages of pre-experimental research design. Next, we move on to what disadvantages of pre-experimental design. Pre-experimental designs offer few advantages since it is often difficult or impossible to rule out the alternative explanations. The nearly insurmountable treatments threats to their validity are clearly the most important disadvantages of pre-experimental research design. So far, I have discussed about what is research design, what is types of research design. In types of research design, quasi-experimental, true experimental, and pre-experimental. These are the design I have explained. I hope everyone should understood my topic. I would like to thank our principal for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.